Week, Commissioner Walter Sofronoff will give his findings after the ACT's investigation into the handling of the Bruce Lehrmann case. As you know, Bruce Lehrmann was accused of raping former political staffer Brittany Higgins, and he's always denied that accusation. The media and political sensation this case has dominated headlines for months, and the inquiry, the Sofronoff Inquiry, has revealed so much more that went on behind the scenes, the conflict about this case between the AFP and the DPP. I'm joined now by the Rule of Law Institute's Vice President, Chris Merritt. Chris, thank you very much for your time. Look, you know, this inquiry could be handed down tomorrow, but most likely it will be given to government on Monday. What do you think were the most damning revelations from the Sofronoff Inquiry?
Look, I think there's very little doubt that the fall guy, or the main fall guy, will be Shane Drumgold, the Director of Public Prosecutions. He's on extended leave, and that's for a number of reasons. I think one of them would have to be the fact that he's conceded that he misled the Chief Justice of the ACT, Lucy McCallum, albeit inadvertently, but misleading a judge, misleading a court over an important matter is fundamental to a lawyer's duties. Now, that said, there are other targets. This inquiry was given terms of reference that require the inquiry to look at not just Mr Drumgold, but the Victims of Crime Commissioner, Heidi Yates, and also the conduct of the police. So they're all in the gun. They're all likely to have findings about their conduct. Whether they're adverse or not will be up to Mr Sofronoff. But I think the real test of this inquiry will be whether Mr Sofronoff goes beyond those specific terms of reference,
which changed. Yep.
Yes, and whether he uses the additional power he's got to look at systemic difficulties, systemic problems. Now, the terms of reference are broad enough, but if you look at what happened in this case, I think there's a few things that would need to be addressed. And number one, I would say that the unrestricted way in which the Victims of Crime Commissioner conducted herself over accompanying...
Just to remind viewers, because she turned up each day to court alongside Brittany Higgins, therefore, in a way, you know, presuming that she was the innocent party rather than allowing the trial to progress.
Exactly. It's probably time for the ACT government to have a look at whether it wants to more closely define what a victim of crime is. Is it somebody who believes they are a victim of crime, or is it somebody who's been through the court process and the case has been tested and proven by a judge? That's point number one. Point number two, the role of the DPP, I think, needs to be looked at as well. The DPP in the ACT is actually a member of a government executive. That's how Mr Drumgold explained himself.
And look, apologies for interrupting, but just again to go to the heart of what we heard in this evidence, it's the allegations that police didn't feel they had enough evidence to charge Bruce Lehrmann with the rape of Brittany Higgins, but that there did seem to be some desire from the head of the DPP, from Shane Drumgold, for that action to take place, for him to be charged with it, irrespective of the fact there may not have been enough evidence.
That's true, and you need to look at that in context. Mr Drumgold was part of a committee that was looking at the reality that a significant number of complaints of sexual assault had been reported to the police and were not proceeding to charge. So there was a big bit of tension between the DPP and the police over that. That pre-existing tension, I think, would have influenced the way the decision not to proceed immediately and charge Mr Lehrmann would have been viewed by the DPP. So there was tension there right from the very beginning. The source of that tension, Well, let's wait and see what
Sofronoff
Mr. Sofronoff's got to say.
Chris Merritt, you are always across these issues in such detail, and we really appreciate your insights. And I'm sure we'll have you back on the show next week when these findings are handed down. Hopefully Monday. It'll be a big show if that's the case on Monday night. So make sure you're watching Sky News at 5 p.m.